So in this video, we are going to learn how to add Google Form submission in MongoDB. Let's say you have created an online form using Google Forms to collect the feedback from your customer. Now you want that the form submission which you are receiving from Google Forms, you want to add the same form submission in your MongoDB database as well. So let me tell you, you can completely automate this process. In this automation, as a new form submission will be received in Google Forms, instantly with the same details, we are going to add those form responses as a record in MongoDB. Now, if you want to learn how you can set up this complete automation all by yourself, for that, you just have to come with me to my screen.
So as you can see, this is a form which I've created using Google Forms. So this is a customer feedback form using which I'm getting some feedback from my customers. Now I want that whenever I get the customer feedback using this Google form, I want to add the same feedback details in my MongoDB database so that I have a consolidated feedback from all the customer and I can use that feedback to analyze it later on. Now to do this, we have to basically connect our MongoDB account with Google Forms so that as we receive a new form submission, a new feedback from Google Forms, the form responses are automatically added in MongoDB. And to do this, we are going to use an automation and integration platform called Pabbly Connect. So as you can see, here we are on Pabbly Connect's dashboard, and to reach this dashboard, you will get a free sign-up link of Pabbly Connect in the description box below. By clicking on that link, you can set up your free Pabbly Connect account in just 2 minutes. After coming to this dashboard, we have to create an automation workflow over here. For that, just click on this Create Workflow button and give this workflow a name. Let's say I'll name my workflow as Google Forms to MongoDB. You can basically give any other name of your choice. Then just select the folder of the Pabbly Connect account in which you want to set up this automation and click on Create. And as we click on Create here, you can see the automation workflow will open in front of us. In this workflow, you can see we have 2 different windows. First one is the trigger window and second one is the action window. So triggers and actions are basically those 2 concepts, those 2 principles on which this whole automation works on, where the trigger says when this happens and the action says do this. So let's start with our trigger window. Now the idea here is, first we have to connect the form which we have created using Google Forms with Pabbly Connect in the trigger step, so that whenever we get a new form submission, a new response using this Google form, automatically the same form responses, the same form submission data is received inside Pabbly Connect and this automation workflow will trigger. It will start. Then after that, using this Pabbly Connect automation, we are going to send the same customer feedback, the same form responses to MongoDB and add those details in our MongoDB database. So let's see how it is done. Here in our trigger window in Choose App, search for Google Forms. Just select it. After selecting Google Forms in Trigger Event from the drop-down, select the trigger event as New Response Received. After selecting a trigger event, Pabbly Connect gave us a webhook URL. And using this webhook URL, we are going to connect our Google Form with Pabbly Connect. Now to add this webhook URL in our Google Form, we just have to follow the instructions given below over here. So we will just copy the webhook URL from here and go to the form which we have created using Google Forms. After coming to this form, we will just scroll down and we have to ensure that the last question of our Google form is marked as required. This is an important step to mark the required or mark the question which you have the last in your Google form as required. After marking the last question as required, you can see right now we are on the questions tab. We will go to responses tab and here in responses tab, you can see this option of link to sheets. Just click on it, select create a new spreadsheet and click on create. So we all know that all the Google Form responses, form submission data are stored in a Google Sheet. And from this Google Sheet, we are going to send the new form submission data, the new form responses to Pabbly Connect. So we are going to add this webhook URL in this particular Google spreadsheet in which the form responses from Google Forms will be added. Now to add the webhook URL, after opening the sheet, we'll go to Extensions, Add-ons and click on Get Add-ons. After clicking on Get Add-ons, we will reach to Google Workspace Marketplace. And here in Search app, we have to search for Pabbly Connect Webhooks. So as you can see, Pabbly Connect Webhooks, this add-on is already installed in my Google spreadsheet. You just have to install this same add-on into your Google Sheets account. And after installing it, just refresh your Google Sheets once. This is an important step. After refreshing a Google Sheet, what we have to do, once again, we'll go to Extensions and here in this drop-down, you can see this option of Pabbly Connect Webhooks. Just hover on it and click on Initial Setup. And as you click on Initial Setup, you can see this box will appear in front of us. And in this Initial Setup box, it is asking us for 3 different things. First one is selected sheet, second one is webhook URL, and third one is trigger column. Now in selected sheet, because in this Google spreadsheet, we have only one sheet named as form responses 1. So by default, it has selected the same sheet. Here in the field of webhook URL, we have to enter the exact same webhook URL which we have received from Pabbly Connect. Just copy it from here and paste it over here. After pasting the webhook URL, it is asking us for the trigger column. Now you must be thinking, what is this trigger column? So trigger column is basically the last data entry column of a Google spreadsheet. It is the last column in which any of our data exists. So here in the background, you will notice that column F is the last column in which we are going to enter the form responses. After column F, in any of the column, none of my data does not exist. So I'm going to enter column F as my trigger column and then just click on submit. After clicking on submit, it is showing us the setup is configured successfully. This means we have successfully added this webhook URL in this Google spreadsheet in which our Google form responses will be stored. After adding the webhook URL, once again we'll go to extensions, Pabbly Connect webhooks, and this time we have to select this option of send on event. By selecting send on event, we are telling this Google Sheet, we are telling this add-on that whenever a new form responses, a new form submission data is added in this Google Sheet, immediately send the responses to Pabbly Connect. Now after doing this, we have successfully connected this Google spreadsheet with Pabbly Connect. And here in our Pabbly Connect workflow, it is showing us waiting for webhook response. This means Pabbly Connect is waiting to capture some responses of form submission from Google Forms, or basically from this Google Sheet. So let's do it. I'll just open this same Google form over here in a new tab, and then we are going to make a dummy form submission. We are going to enter the name of a customer as, for example, demo user. This is the name. This is the email address of this customer which we are entering. Then the feedback type is, for example, question. The message is how to use custom variables in Pabbly Connect. Let's say this is a dummy question which we have entered over here. How to use custom variables in Pabbly Connect. And here in suggestion for improvement, let's say I want to add a suggestion as, for example, none. I'm not adding any suggestions for now, just some dummy responses. We just have to make a dummy form submission. After entering all the details, let's click on submit. And as we click on submit, here you can see in our Google form, we have received a new form response. And here in our Google spreadsheet as well, you can see that the same form responses are added. We have the same name, same email, same feedback type, same message over here, and also the same suggestion for improvement. And because we have connected this Google Sheet or this Google form with Pabbly Connect in the trigger step, we will see in our Pabbly Connect workflow here in trigger step responses, we have received the response. And in this response, you can see the details of the exact same form submission. Here you can see we have the timestamp over here that at what date and time this form submission was done. Then here after that, you can see we have the response for suggestion of improvement, and that was none. We'll scroll down further. You can see some other details like the spreadsheet name, spreadsheet ID, and all of that. Now here you can see we have the response of the name of the customer. We have the message over here. We have the feedback type and also the email address. This means the step 1 of setting up this automation is completed, where we have successfully connected our Google form with Pabbly Connect and received the form responses received using Google form in our Pabbly Connect workflow. Now after this, let's move to step 2. And in step 2, we want to send this same form responses, this form submission data to MongoDB and add this data as a record over there. For that, we will just scroll down, come to this action step, and here in choose app, we'll search for MongoDB. Just select it. After selecting MongoDB, in action event from the dropdown, select the action event as create record. Then just click on connect and select add new connection. Now here we have to connect our MongoDB account or MongoDB database with Pabbly Connect. So here what we have to do to make this connection, we have to enter the connection string of our MongoDB account. Now here in the help text, you can see an example of connection string. We have to enter this type of string over here. In this string, we have to enter the username and password of our MongoDB project and also the name of the database. Now, if we click on this learn more button in the help text, you can see it will take us to a page on our forum. And at this page, you will get a step-by-step guide that how you can connect your MongoDB database with Pabbly Connect. So what we have to do, First, we'll go to a MongoDB account and we have to basically register our current IP address. So from the left sidebar, go to network access button. Here you can see all the IP addresses which I have added over here. To add a new one, click on this add IP address button, select add current IP address and click on confirm. And as you click on confirm, here you can see that the current IP address is now adding over here. So let's wait for a few seconds to get this IP address added and change the status to active. And yes, here you can see that we have successfully added the IP address, the current IP address over here. After adding the IP address, we'll go to the clusters section. And after coming to clusters, here you can see this is my cluster over here. Now to connect this cluster with Pabbly Connect, just click on this connect button. And after clicking on connect, here we'll go to drivers and we will scroll down. And here you can see the connection string. We have to copy this exact same connection string which we have received from MongoDB, go to Pabbly Connect and paste it over here. Now in this string, you can see that the database name over here is missing, which was supposed to be after .NET/ and before this question mark. Here we have to enter the database name. We have the username, but the database password is also missing. So I'll go back to my MongoDB account and open the database in which I want to add the form responses. Let's go to browse collection section. And under collection, you will see the databases which we have created. So I have this database over here named as customer feedback. In this particular database, I have this collection over here, form responses, in which we want to add the data. So I'll just copy the name of this exact same database over here, go to Pabbly Connect, and here in the connection string, I'll update the name. Then here in DB password, I'll enter the password of my MongoDB collection over here. And yes, I have successfully added the username and the password over here. Also, we have entered the database name in which we want to add the form responses. After updating this connection string, just click on save. And as you click on save, here you can see that we have successfully connected our MongoDB account with Pabbly Connect. After making the connection, it is asking us for the collection name. Now here in collection name, in your database which we have connected, in which particular collection we want to add the data. So in my database, I have this collection named as form responses, as you can see over here. In this collection, we want to add the data. So I'll just copy the exact same collection name and paste it over here in collection name field. Now, if you have added multiple collection, if you have created multiple collection in MongoDB, in that case, just enter the particular collection name over here in which we want to add the data. Now after that, it is asking us for the custom JSON. So what we can do, we can just basically enter the whole custom JSON over here, the complete custom JSON or the JSON body of the data which we want to add. Or we can enter the JSON body in the key value pairs as well. So what we have to do, instead of custom JSON, we'll start with the custom data over here. Just turn this mapping button on and clear the default response. And all the details, all the information of data or all the form responses which we want to add in MongoDB, one by one, first we are going to enter those titles or those labels over here. Let's say I want to enter timestamp. Then I want to enter the name. Then after a comma, I'll want to enter the email address. So I'll have email. Then after a comma, I want to mention the feedback type. Then I want to also add the message and suggestion over here. So these are the details, these are the field or the data which I want to add in MongoDB. So what we have done, we have just turned this mapping button on in front of custom data, and we have basically entered the comma separated values for all the types of data or all the information we want to add. Now after adding this custom data, you can see as we move over here, as we completely add all the details, all the keys which we have entered over here, all the fields which we have entered with separated by comma over here, all of these fields are added below that. Now, whatever details you want to add in front of these fields over here in place of these fields in the MongoDB, we can just enter into their respective field. So what we can do in timestamp, we'll click here, and here in this dropdown, you can see a list of all the responses which we have received from Google Form of a new form submission from the triggers tab. So out of all of these responses, let's select the response of timestamp and map it in the field of timestamp. Then here we have the field of name over here. Just click here from the drop down from Google Form responses, select the response of name and map it in the field of name. In the field of email, we'll map the response of email address. Here it is. Then in the field of feedback type, we'll map the response of feedback type. Then here we are going to map the response of message which we have received, and also we'll map the response of suggestion over here. For example, the suggestion was none. So in this way, what we have done, whatever information of the form responses, whatever data of the form responses we want to add in MongoDB, we have entered the keys over here separated by comma in the custom data field. And after entering the fields, you can see that all the different fields, individual fields for each and every value or each and every data is added below here. And we have basically mapped the responses received from Google Forms in the trigger step into their respective fields. Now, after adding these fields, after adding the fields and mapping the data into their respective fields, just click on Save and Send Test Request. And as we click on Save and Send Test Request, here you can see that we are going to receive some response. And the response is received. This response seems to be a positive response to us. This response shows that the status is success. This means all the keys which we have added over here, all these keys, the data with all these keys and all these values which we have mapped for these keys is now added into our MongoDB database. So let's check it. We'll go to MongoDB over here. We'll just refresh database once. And yes, here you can see that under the same collection form responses, the response is added, the data is added. We have the same timestamp at which we have received the form submission. We have the same name, same email, same feedback type, same message, and the same suggestion. This means the database or the form responses which we have received from Google Forms using this Pabbly Connect automation, we have added the same form responses in our MongoDB account as well in Mongo database. Now, after setting up this automation, we are going to test this automation workflow in real time. For that, I'll just go back to my Google form and we are going to make another test submission over here. Let's say the name of the person is test user. This is the name of the customer who is making the form submission, who is sharing the feedback. This is the email address which we are entering. And after entering the email address, let's enter the feedback type as, for example, comment. And here in comment, let's say I'm going to write a message as, for example, we are testing this automation. We are testing this automation. So after entering the message, let's enter a suggestion as, for example, can we get the workflow template link? So let me tell you guys, the automation workflow template, the workflow which we have created over here, you'll get a clone link of this exact same automation in the description box below. By clicking on that link, you can just clone this same workflow into your own Pabbly Connect account and start using those automation for free. Now we'll get back to the form which we have created. So we have entered the details of a dummy user. We have the name, email address, the feedback type as comment, the message is we are testing this automation, and suggestion for improvement is can we get a workflow template link. Let's click on submit. Now as I click on submit, here you can see in our Google form, we have received a new form submission, a new form response over here. And as we get this data, instantly within seconds, the same data will be added in MongoDB as well. We'll go to MongoDB, we'll just refresh this page once. And yes, here you can see that the same data, the same form responses is added. We have the same timestamp that at what date and time the form submission was received. We have the name of the same customer, same email address, and the same feedback type, message, and suggestion as well. This means the automation workflow which we have created using Pabbly Connect, we have tested this automation and it is working perfectly fine. So not just these applications, you can connect plenty of other applications with Pabbly Connect. And as I told you, you will get the clone link of the same workflow in the description box below. Also, let me tell you that Pabbly Connect offers you a free plan. And in this plan, you will get some free tasks every month into your own Pabbly Connect account. So if you want to try and test this automation workflow, you can just do it for absolutely free.
So if this video was helpful to you, don't forget to hit the like button, share it with others, or if you have any kind of doubts or queries, you can always write us in the comment box below or email us at support@pabbly.com. Also, you can post your queries on our forum as well. And if you want to check the pricing of Pabbly Connect, you can visit this link. So this is it for today's video. Thank you. Have a great day.